Welcome back to Christine's Home Affairs. I have a really quick project today. It's only going to take about 10 to 15 minutes to make a pair of gaiters. So gaiters or sock savers are designed to put around your ankle, and it'll help if you're mowing the lawns or going bushwalking to prevent stones and grass seeds getting inside your boot. So you put them over your ankles and they cover your boots. Stick around and I'll show you how quickly and how easily we can make these sock savers or gaiters. Now, if you're going to be using quilting cotton, you can do this two ways. You can use a fat quarter or the full length of your fabric. You'll need 8.5 inches this way, and if you're using the full width of fabric, then just keep the salvages on and use the entire amount. So that's about 42 inches. If you're going to be using a fat quarter, then have the width of your fat quarter, which is about 20 to 21 inches by 8.5 inches, and you'll need 2 pieces. Cut your full length piece in straight down the center. Once you've done that, take your fabric and we're just going to fold the bottom edge up 1/4 inch, and then we're going to do another fold of 1/4 inch. So this bottom edge will be 2 1/4 inch folds. We'll fold that up all the way, and then we'll take it to the machine and we'll stitch that down. Once you've stitched a double fold of 1/4 inch all the way down along the bottom edge, press it and that'll just sit nicely like that. We'll repeat that for the other piece as well. So you'll do a double 1/4 inch fold along the bottom. To do the top edge, we've got to put an elastic in. So what we're going to do first is fold the top edge over at 1/4 inch, then fold it over at 5/8 inch. You can go and stitch this straight down like this if you want to, and then insert your elastic using a pin or a bodkin. I'm going to show you another way to insert the elastic without having to go through 2 steps. So 1/4 inch fold and then a 5/8 inch fold. Get yourself 2 pieces of 1/4 inch elastic, just stretch that out, and you just need 2 pieces that are 10 inches each by 1/4 inch. What we're going to do is attach this piece of elastic. You can see where this fabric is folded, and we're going to insert the elastic in between the layers here. Just let that stick out a little bit there, fold the fabric back over, and we'll take this to the machine and we're just going to stitch this elastic down, and then we're going to do a top stitch all the way down the edge here and tuck the elastic in underneath as you go, and I'll show you how we're going to do that in a minute. With the elastic tucked in underneath, we're just going to do a stitch straight across here just to secure that piece of elastic that's in there. Turn your work around and have the elastic facing you, and with the double fold and the elastic tucked in closer to the top edge of your fabric here. So we don't want the elastic down on this side where we're sewing, we want it tucked in at the top. And stitch your 5/8 inch seam all the way down. As you go, you want to make sure you've got your elastic sticking out at the other end. So we're just going to stitch down about 6 or 8 inches. I've got the elastic sticking out here. Grab hold of the elastic and start pulling. Place it underneath your fabric again. And you would have seen me doing something like this when we were doing the scrunchies. So you can see that this is starting to gather at the top here. Continue to sew. Grab the elastic again, pull it through, and you'll do this until you get to the very end. Make sure you don't let go of the elastic. If you do, that's not a big deal. You'll just have to use a bodkin or a safety pin to get through. Pull your elastic until you get to the outside edge. Continue to stitch. And I'm just going to grab some tweezers and grab that elastic at the end there. Turn your work and stitch that elastic in place. So you've got this all evenly gathered all the way around. And what we're going to do is a French seam to secure the ends. So we want to have our fabric wrong side together. So this is the wrong side and this is the outside of our fabric. You can trim off your salvages if you want to. It won't make much difference to the finished size of your sock cover. Line up the edge of your fabric, and we're just going to sew about 1/4 inch from the top, back stitch at the top and at the bottom. We're going to stitch all the way down about 1/4 inch. So we've got our side seam stitched together there, and we're just going to trim that back so that we can do our French seam. So trim about 1/8 of an inch from the sewn edge, and if you've trimmed your selvage off, you're not going to see any of this white edge here. Turn it the wrong way around, bring the seam out to the side, and then we're going to stitch this down and close up the seam that we've got on the inside there. So we've got about 1/8 of an inch there. We want to make sure we do at least 1/4 of an inch seam. And I also want to cover up the white from the selvages. So there's the 1/4 inch seam there. When you turn it through the other way, you've got a nice neat edge. You can't see my selvages there. This is all nice and neat, so there's no exposed seams at all on this sock cover. And this next step is completely optional. What you can do is, just to make this seam sit down nicely, is just run along the side and do a top stitch down on the side there. And I will do that because I do like it to look a little bit neater there. There we go. One sock cover or gaiter completely finished. And there's the other one. The top stitching there just helps your fabric sit nice and flat. There we go, I've made up 2 pairs. This one here will be great for the blokes, so we don't have to have anything florally for them. So I've just popped my label onto the back of one of them only, and then we've got this little florally one. They're very, very simple to make. Okay, so they were really, really simple to make, weren't they? It took me 10 to 15 minutes to make a pair, and I'm going to sell these in the shop for $15 a pair. So Christmas is coming, spring is here. I think that they'll do really well this time of year, and they'll be great little Christmas gifts or stocking fillers as well. So I'm going to make these up and see how they go in the shop over summer. Although we may not have many sales this summer because we have had massive floods in our region, and the local tourist park where we get 3,500 people each year is completely inundated. I think we've lost it. So we don't expect to see many tourists this year, but hopefully I'll be able to sell some of them. I'll show you what they look like. You'll have to excuse my foot on top of my counter. All right, here we go. It's a bit difficult to get my legs up this high. So there's the sock saver. Just sits over your boot like that. It's got the elastic around the cuff there, and it'll prevent grass seeds and rocks and things from getting inside your boots. So that was an exercise in itself. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed this video, and I shall catch you next time. Bye for now.